Hi everyone, Soundafaz here, and I thought I'd do a video after getting a couple of questions about my latest Shakin' Stevens Bounce remix. So Bounce, some people call it Bounce, some people call it Donk, call it what you will. It's very popular amongst certain circles, and certainly most of the stuff I make is definitely not Scouse House, Bounce, Donk. I've made a couple of kind of bouncy tracks in the past, but mainly I do trance obviously. But this was just something different really. So I just thought I would run through, a very, very brief run through of how I actually put it together. And more than anything, the thing I got asked about a couple of times in the past week, well in the past couple of days, was how to make that donk sound. Donk, 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 donk. You know what I mean. So, you can obviously see the screen, and I'll just show you how the track is broken up. So, obviously, as with any dance tune, we are starting with drums, kicks, hi-hats, bongos, etc. So, if I just isolate each one. Here's the kick drum. Very straightforward. Let's add a hi-hat to that. Let's add another hi-hat loop to that. Let's add a clap. Some bongos. Crash cymbal, obviously every 8 bars. Now a sweep down, again just a sample. And if you listen to that on its own, it's just like it's called a sweep, but it's basically like a pew. Not too loud, just a slight bit of reverb, just to keep it kind of just a little effect. And that's basically it for the first 8 bars. On the 9th bar, carries on as normal. Oh no, we've got another hat that starts there. So if we listen to this. Then there's obviously a snare coming in here, a snare build. Now that's where the donk starts, which is muted at the minute. So, this is the bit that I've been asked about. The donk. The Christmas donk. Here we go. So, it's easier than you think. This is basically because most of my Christmas remixes are normally put together very quickly, because I normally leave it till the last minute. And it's difficult to come up with ideas sometimes. So this is simply, I cheated a bit, and I bought a Serum VST patch. Serum being the VST here that you can see. And there's the donk. On higher notes, kind of up an octave, sounds a bit weird. Certainly on lower notes as well. But if you go around the middle, it sounds like that. Brilliant. So if you listen to that on its own, and I'll put a click on so you can hear. So you'll see along the bottom, these are the actual notes that are being played. So if I go up the keyboard, start to sound a bit weird. I think around this area tends to be right. It's a kind of detuned, funny sounding bass line, but it just works, especially at 138 BPM. So again, this is it with everything else. And then starting here, we've got this synth, which is fading in. And also, of course, the Shakin' Stevens jingle bell sound. You can see that being faded in. Then when it hits here, you have another synth just starting, and again being faded in. And the main synth is up here. Brilliant. Especially so with everything together, it just really works. That synth, not too overpowering. Actually, I say a synth, it's not really a synth. I suppose you would call it it's basically a bass. In effect, it's a bass sound. But it just very Scouse housey for anyone into Wigan Pier back in the day, stuff like that, and that kind of music. There were CDs, tapes everywhere, wasn't there? That's definitely that kind of sound that every single Wigan Pier track went for. So the other part of this, obviously, the main part, is the Shakin' Stevens music. So what I've done here is, rather than just use the original track, I've used the individual layers, or stems as they're better known. So it's where the track is split into each part. So for example, this actually is just the instrumental. Just I don't know why I used the instrumental, because I ended up using the layers, but I just happened to load the instrumental in first. So aside from that, you'll see each one here. So these are the keys. So this is like the piano sound, which again is fading in, and then until it gets to this point. And then the next part are the actual bells, the kind of jingles, shakers you might call them, and the actual synthesized kind of bell sound, which is this one. That's that. And then the actual vocal, which is just an a cappella. So the a cappella on its own sounds like this. Just the whole track.
Snow is falling all around me. Children playing, having fun. It's the season, love and understanding. Merry Christmas, everyone. Time for parties.
So where I got that a cappella from, I cannot remember. I have had that sat on a PC in my studio probably since I started producing music, which was probably, don't know, 15 years ago, something like that, maybe longer. And yeah, so I don't know where it's from. So all I've really done, by the way, with that is, on its own, it sounds very flat. Although I assume it's not the official a cappella, because I don't know if there ever was one released. I think someone's kind of separated it, they extracted it from the track themselves at some point. It could have been from DMC, to be honest, because they used to sometimes supply vocals for remixes and so on. If they had an idea for something, they would say, here's the stems of the track, see what you can do with it. So it could have been, but I don't know where it's from. But all of these effects here are on the vocal, just to give it a bit of kick. So you've got channel EQ, compression, a limiter, ensemble, and quite a bit of reverb. And it just gives it the... It's just a much cleaner vocal. So aside from that, you've then got... To be honest, you've probably not got a lot more, because it's very much all repetitive from this point on. So if we just listen to the vocal and the donk on its own, you kind of still get the vibe, just without all the drums.
Time for parties and celebration. People dancing all night long. Time for presents and exchanging kisses. Time for singing Christmas songs.
And then obviously here, the donk changes to go along with the track. So it drops down a bit here.
We're gonna have a party tonight. I'm gonna find that girl underneath the mistletoe and kiss by candlelight, room this way.
Oh yeah, actually, you have also got the trumpets. So you'll hear this bit now.
The mistletoe and kiss by candlelight, room this way. That goes play all the old songs we love to hear. All I wish that every day was Christmas.
Trumpets on their own sound brilliant. And then it pretty much goes on like that, so on and so forth. There's a nice brass section solo here. Apologies, it's actually here. So again, just completely isolated from everything else. And then it goes on. Well, I'm not going to play the whole thing. You can obviously go to youtube.com/soundofaz and listen to the full track. It's actually the radio edit, however, or the edited version. As I said in the post, if you want the full extended version, a few people have requested it. I've sent it over to them. I'm sure that's going to be hammering a few Christmas parties over the next couple of weeks. So it goes on until the big key change, obviously, as you can see here. And then as the vocal key changes, so does the donk. And what I'll do is just play the vocal on its own, which is there, and the donk. If I play it from here... Oh, hang on, that's not the vocal. Yes, it is, sorry.
Snow is falling all around me. Children playing, having fun. It's the season, love and understanding. Merry Christmas, everyone. Snow is falling all around me. Children playing.
Let's actually just play it from here and add one layer at a time. See how cool it sounds.
Snow is falling all around me. Children playing, having fun. It's the season, love and understanding. Merry Christmas, everyone. Oh, snow is falling all around me. Children playing, having fun. It's the season, love and understanding. Merry Christmas, everyone.
And then just a nice outro for mixing. And that's it. So even though it's an edit, the reason it's an edit is for YouTube purposes. It has to, if extended mixes go on YouTube, no one listens, everyone gets bored with the first part. unless unless someone's looking for an extended version of something, they tend not to listen to the first part, I think it's something like, I think you have a minute, no, not even that, probably 20-30 seconds to kind of grab attention on YouTube. So if you've got an extended version that's got 3 minutes of build up for mixing, no one's going to listen to it, and no one's really going to skip it either. They'll just jump onto the next video. However, what I always do, even with an edit, is make sure there's a nice bit at the end for mixing, because that way at least you could maybe play it as a first tune in a set and still mix out of it. So that's what I try and do. But as I said, the extended version is fully available to anyone that wants it, because it's clearly for DJ use only, or private use only, of course. So that's just available. Just email me, faz@soundoffaz.com. Anyway, that's all of that, I do believe. I just thought I'd show the few that asked me, and anyone else that was interested, how it's put together. So as you'll see from the difference with this one, between this and the Bay recomposition, for example, the Bay used a lot more VSTs, so there was less samples and more sounds that I'd created. However, with like a Christmas track, it clearly takes, it's like I said before, I normally do them really quickly, so it's basically samples, kick, hi-hat, hat loop, clap, bongos, and aside from them, it's just the stems from the tracks. Now, the actual stems from the tracks came from, again, there's no official stems that I'm aware of. I'm sure there is somewhere. I mean, there has to be in the studio, but they've never left the studio probably. These are actually almost karaoke stems. I can't remember the name of the site where you can just buy them. It might be, I think it's backingtracks.com or something like that. So they're all recreated, so that then these aren't from the original track, but as you can tell, the top quality, they may as well be recreated. They may as well be the originals, because they're just brilliant. I think when doing a remix, if you can't find the parts, the official parts, a site like that, I mean, you can, I don't know what it costs, maybe $5 for the whole lot, so you get all the stems. Obviously it's resung as well, but I wanted to use the original vocal on this one, so I've kind of used the original vocal of Shakin' Stevens, but all the parts of the track. So that's it. Another little guide on how I do stuff for the people that are interested. Anything else you'd like to, if there's anything you've heard on the Sound of Faz channel, you'd just like a quick run through of how it was made or put together more than anything, because obviously this isn't a tutorial. I can't, I couldn't go through how to do stuff. I just find that really hard to explain. It's just the way I am. It's quite difficult, that. However, I'm more than happy to show you everything like this. So if there's anything else, just let me know. So thanks for listening. It's, the 9th of December. So if I don't speak to you again, have a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Please subscribe if you don't already. youtube.com/soundoffaz. Always appreciated. I think probably 1,200 subscribers now, I think, which is mental, because it took the best part of probably 10 years to get 1,000. I mean, granted, the first few years I didn't really do a lot on YouTube, but they do say that once you get 1,000, things start to grow, and it's strange because, like I say, it took 10 years to get 1,000, and I think I got 1,000 in, I don't know, July, August. But since then, which is only 4 or 5 months, I've got another 200. So I'm a fifth of the way towards the next 1,000 in 5 months, which is mad. So please share, please like, please subscribe, and thank you very much.